Hi guys, what in the blazes is going on, you may ask, in an old-timey fashion, because DJI just came out with the Mic Mini, and there was a lot of hot debate over who had the best tiny little microphone, DJI or Hollyland, because Hollyland have the wonderful Lark M2, a great microphone by anybody's standards. But then Hollyland decided to go ahead and make another tiny little microphone. This little teardrop-shaped microphone is a brand new release and called the Hollyland Lark M2S. And this is not a replacement of the Hollyland Lark M2. It is an answer to a request that many people had. They wanted a tiny little mic, pretty much like a lavalier microphone, and didn't have so much company branding on the microphone itself. And I am actually wearing the other one. Does two come in a kit, at least the kit I have. And I'm wearing the other one right here. Look at how small and discreet that is. No logos to be seen. And that is going to make people pretty happy who were asking about that feature. However, I mean, you're not going to buy all three sets of these microphones, so we might as well talk about the differences between them and see which one is right for you. I'll briefly tell you the features of each microphone, and at the end of the video, I will do a head-to-head sound test so you can hear for yourself how these microphones sound next to one another. So first of all, Hollyland did send this mic out for the purpose of this review, but most companies send their wireless mics to old marquee. DJI sent the Mic Mini. I've worked with DJI, I've worked with Hollyland. I really like both companies. I honestly don't care which one you buy. I want you to be happy. I want you to be able to make an informed decision and pick the mic that is right for you. And hopefully this video can give you a little clarity. So first, let's start out with the new kid on the block, the Hollyland Lark M2S. It comes in this cute little charging case, really nice compact charging case. I have the combo pack, so it comes with the receiver, two transmitters, and another receiver that you can plug into your USB-C phone. You can also purchase just phone-only versions of the Lark M2S, so without the receiver for a mirrorless camera. The star of the show, of course, is the little transmitter, and it just has this little titanium clip. That is how you attach it. It doesn't have any other way to attach, no magnets, nothing like that. You're just supposed to attach it to a piece of clothing and then try to hide it. The big part actually goes behind your clothes, and the small part is the microphone, and that stays on the outside of your garment. So obviously, as you can see, it can be a very discreet microphone. However, it can be fairly limiting when it comes to mounting points. The other microphones have magnets. You can put them anywhere you want. However, with this Hollyland Lark M2S, you're going to have to find a place that it clips in. Now, the plus to that is it is extremely sturdy once it is on your clothes. They are marketing this towards people who are doing fitness, bike races, people who jog, runners, people who like to be healthy, mountain climbers, all you guys that like to stay fit. This thing will stay on so much better than one of the other microphones that have a magnet, and after a bit of bouncing around, you can get that magnet dislodged. However, the DJI Mic Mini also has a clip on the back, so you can clip that to your clothes, and that won't become dislodged when you have vigorous activity, and that has a magnet that goes on the back of that clip. So you get the best of all worlds. However, that does make the microphone a little bit thicker. It protrudes more when it's on your shirt or if it is under your shirt, and it is more obvious that you are wearing a microphone. The only button on the transmitter is this orange button, which you can use to activate noise canceling, or if you hold it down, you can power off your device. The receiver itself is a lightweight plastic, but it feels really well built, and it has a little analog knob to turn the volume from 1 to 3, level 1 to 3, a bit like the Lark M2 that you will see in a second. It has a 3.5 millimeter jack for your mirrorless camera and a USB-C port if you want to use it with a computer. It has an orange button on the side, and that can switch between mono and stereo. Pressing the center volume button can activate the noise canceling. My kit came with a USB-A to USB-C charging cable and also a USB-C to Apple Lightning cable in case you want to use it with one of your older phones. It has two furry little wind muffs when you are out in windy conditions. Now, I'll say this, the wind muff is not the easiest thing to get on in the world. You have a little pouch here underneath the windscreen, and then you just slide the microphone into that pouch there. And as you can see, it becomes a lot less discreet when it is on your clothing. But if you are going to use this for jogging and biking, you're going to need this wind muff because the microphone is on the outside of your shirt. Unless you want to reverse it like I like to do, but then that microphone will be rubbing up against your skin or your other articles of clothing that you're wearing underneath. I don't know if that would work, so you're probably just going to have to use the windscreen. Now, this windscreen is a little bit better than the Hollyland Lark M2, where you take this giant windscreen and then you put it all the way around your device right there. And then you can't tell if you've pressed the noise canceling or not because you can't see if the light went from blue to green. And that looks quite obvious on your shirt. So what I like to do with the Hollyland is I just put it inside my shirt and then I just clip the magnet on right there. And that way it's quite discreet and it still works really well. You lose a tiny bit of low end, but nothing to complain about. Now, the DJI definitely wins in this category when it comes to windscreen implementation. You just clip it onto the top. Very easy to do. But once again, I still like to reverse it under my shirt. I just unbuttoned my shirt. What kind of show is this turned into? It's because, see, the DJI is a little bit bigger, so it protrudes a little more. Made me unbutton my shirt. I didn't do that just for views and ratings. But see, that's what I like to do. That way I don't have to take the windscreen around. But with this new M2S, you kind of are going to have to do this. The Hollyland Lark M2 comes in a very similar charging case. You have two little transmitters and one receiver. The receiver has a volume level, 3 volume levels on it, and a couple of buttons on the side. The M2 comes with a pretty strong magnet at the back, so it's much easier to mount the M2 anywhere you want as opposed to the M2S with its hook. The Lark M2 transmitter is only 10 grams, but the Lark M2S is an unbelievable 7 grams. The DJI with magnet is the heaviest at 13 grams, but if you're using the clip only without the magnet, it is 9 grams. So all three are ridiculously light. There are more accessories included with the Lark M2. It does have clips, but once again, these are magnetic clips. Still, if you want to clip it to clothing, there you go. And it has two little rope-like necklaces with little magnets at the bottom, so you could just slip it on over someone's head if you are quickly interviewing them. Make sure you ask first. Also has the charging cables and the two big wind muffs, but this is kind of nice. It has little stickers, so you could put those on and cover up the Hollyland logos. So Hollyland have been thinking for a while about how to make their microphones more discreet for those customers who want it that way. The DJI also comes in a charging case, a nice solid charging case, but what's great about this one is it can actually house the 3.5 millimeter cable in the top of the case, as well as the furry wind muffs. You can stick the furry wind muffs on the transmitters and close the case, wire and all. Very convenient. That way you don't have to take anything else other than this little box. And that is worth the price of admission for a lot of people. It has the two small transmitters, two wind muffs, and a little receiver. The receiver has a nice analog dial where you can go all the way down from -12 to +12. The actual charging case comes with a USB-C adapter as well, so you can put that onto your phone. If you have one of the older Apple phones, you can buy an additional Lightning adapter for about $20. Now, I will say when it comes to connecting phones, I believe that both Hollylands are better than the DJI, but I think the Lark M2S, the new one, is the best of them. And let me explain. You see, I have to, this whole time I was talking, you have to put the adapter onto the DJI and then put the actual whole unit there, the whole receiver, into the phone. And obviously that is a little bit bigger when you compare it to something like the Hollyland M2. Like, look at that. That's the Hollyland Lark M2 receiver, and this is the Hollyland Lark M2S receiver. Now, it does get a little complicated in that the DJI mini transmitters can connect via Bluetooth to your phone or your tablet, whereas the Hollyland microphones, they cannot do that. However, you will notice a big drop in audio quality when you go from plugging it directly in to actually using the Bluetooth microphones. So most people end up just using the actual adapter anyway. And if you're going to do that, the Hollyland is the better choice because it is smaller. But let's stay on with the phones here for a second, because another reason people like the DJI Mic Mini over the Hollyland Lark M2, the original one, you know, the circle one, that it's because when it comes to your cell phone, the Hollyland can only do mono recording. So even if you use two of these transmitters, it's going to be put on one track. Whereas with the DJI, you can do separate recordings. So you could do stereo or dual mono, and you will get a track on each independent channel, and that is much better for editing. Well, I'm happy to say that the Lark M2S takes after the DJI in that you can get stereo and dual mono on separate tracks when you connect to your phone. So that is a big win for the M2S over the original Hollyland if you are a phone user. Speaking of phones, all of the microphones I'm talking about have access to an app. The Hollyland, they have the Lark Sound, and DJI have the DJI Mimo app. Now with the Lark Sound, that is a very basic app. You can basically watch your levels bounce around. You can switch the Lark M2S from mono to stereo for your mobile device, and you can actually change the amount of noise canceling from low to high. So you have two options for noise canceling for both of the microphones. As well, you can control the volume from level 1 to level 3 on both of the Hollylands. But that is pretty much it, and you can update your microphones through the app. The DJI Mimo app is much more fully featured. You can switch the noise cancellation from basic to strong. You can switch from mono to stereo. You can use a safety track. That is a feature that neither of the Hollylands have. A low cut filter, auto on and off, and you can have a clipping control mechanism which basically monitors your audio and tries to cut it off before you actually clip. And something else I love with the DJI app is that you can turn off the ability to be able to press noise canceling on or off on your transmitters. And that's what I do. I turn that off. I don't want to accidentally press noise canceling because I never use it. If I want to use noise canceling, I do that in post myself, and I just take my normal raw audio. So I turn that off. I wish Hollyland, and if you're watching Hollyland, please add a feature into your app where I can turn off the actual button there. I don't want to be pressing this button by accident, this yellow button, and going into noise canceling mode. So I would just like the option of turning that off, please. Now, before I get into the sound test, I have to mention an advantage the DJI has over the two Hollyland microphones if you use other DJI products like the Action 5 Pro or the DJI Pocket Osmo 3. You can connect two of these little transmitters wirelessly to those devices. And that is not just your standard Bluetooth connection where the audio quality is poor. It's actually using DJI's Wireless Connect, so you're going to get a much better sound coming out of these devices. It can connect to the Action 4 as well, but only one microphone, not two, like the Action 5 Pro and the Osmo Pocket 3. The two Hollyland microphones can't connect Bluetooth to anything or to any of the DJI devices without the adapter. But there's no point in getting a mic if you don't like the way it sounds, so let's do our audio quality test now. This is a palate cleanser. I am using the internal microphone on my FX30, and it probably doesn't sound very good, even though it's my voice. This is the sound of the Hollyland Lark M2S going straight into my FX30. This is the sound of the Hollyland Lark M2 going straight into my FX30. This is the sound of the DJI Mic Mini going straight into my FX30. Mark Bennett is as handsome as he is intelligent, which is very. Mark Bennett is as handsome as he is intelligent, which is very. Mark Bennett is as handsome as he is intelligent, which is very. This is the sound of the Hollyland Lark M2S going straight into my FX30. This is the sound of the Hollyland Lark M2 going straight into my FX30. This is the sound of the DJI Mic Mini going straight into my FX30. Honestly, to my ears, all three sound fantastic. Write down below which one you like the best and why. Now, as we've talked about, each of these microphones have two levels of noise canceling ability, so let's go through that now. I will turn on my trusty little sound machine, and this is the noise that we will try to block out. This is the Lark M2S with no noise canceling on whatsoever. This is the Lark M2S with the strong noise canceling turned on. There are two levels of noise canceling. This is the strong one. This is the sound of the Lark M2S with the weaker noise canceling mode on. This is the sound of the Hollyland Lark M2 with no noise canceling on. This is the sound of the Hollyland Lark M2 with its noise cancelling on strong. This is the sound of the Hollyland Lark M2 with the noise cancelling on weak. This is the sound of the DJI Mic Mini with no noise cancelling on. This is the sound of the DJI Mic Mini with the strong noise cancelling on. And this is the sound of the DJI Mic Mini with the basic noise cancelling feature turned on. So once again, tell me down below which microphone you thought did a better job when it came to noise canceling. Now personally, like I said, I am not going to use noise canceling. I will do that myself in post, and I would leave it on the basic or weak canceling function of all of the microphones, because that is what I would prefer. Although with the DJI, I'm turning it off altogether. If you're trying to switch between the more aggressive and the weaker form, then it's going to be a pain in the butt. If you're connected to a mirrorless camera, you gotta unplug your receiver, put it to your phone, change it from weak to strong, and then plug it back in to your camera. It's quite a cumbersome process, so I don't like having to switch back and forth between the strong and the weak, so I'm just going to leave it on weak or turn it off entirely. When it comes to price, I don't have the official price yet, but they've told me it should be around $139 USD for the combo kit that I have for the Hollyland Lark M2S, which does make it come in a little bit cheaper than the Hollyland Lark M2 and the DJI Mic Mini. But the thing is, Hollyland often likes to run promotions and sales. You can usually get the Hollyland Lark M2 for much cheaper than its full retail price. So hopefully they'll be doing things like that with this microphone right here, because it will make it much more tempting if this microphone is a few dollars off that $139. So now after all these tests, I think I really understand why Hollyland made this Lark M2S. I didn't understand it at first. When they sent it to me, I was like, what's wrong with the Lark M2? I love that microphone, and this has more versatility than this Lark M2S. But after using it in practice, I get it. You can just clip it on. It is so small and quick and discreet. The audio sounds so great. So over there, I have a shorts corner set up. I like to do my vertical video on a separate camera over there with all the lights already set up. And I am going to attach a little receiver to my camera over there, and I'm going to pin this one to my collar, and that way I'll just do those shorts nice and quick and get really great audio quality. People who like to use phones, who want no fuss, no muss, want a really discreet little microphone without any logos that sounds great, this is the mic right here. I think the Lark M2 more versatile, more useful in many other situations, and the DJI as well, plus with all of those extra features. But I'm really curious, which of these three do you prefer and why? Write it down below. We'll have a nice little discussion about it. Once again, thanks to Hollyland for sending this thing out for review. We'll talk to you again soon. Okay, bye-bye.